Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Railroads and subways are structures where trains run on tracks. However, tracks aren't always flat. They often travel on elevated or low sections, creating inclines. Why railroad inclines differ from road inclines? Railroad tracks are primarily made of iron or steel, and train wheels are also made of iron or steel. Unlike cars, which run on asphalt with rubber tires, trains must pay close attention to track inclines. Furthermore, trains are significantly more heavily weighted than cars, making them significantly affected by inclines. Meanings of railroad inclines, angles, and per mil. Railroad inclines and inclines are also called gradients. A 90 degrees angle is a right angle, and 0 degrees is flat. Per mil is expressed in per mil and is used in railways because it allows for more precise expression than angles. Per mil is expressed in meters per 1,000 meters. For example, 7 per mil represents the inclination of a 1,000 meter distance with a 7 meter elevation. The safe operation standard in Korea is 35 per mil. The physical limit for the safe operation of heavy rail vehicles on standard track is approximately 35 per mil. The reason for this 35 per mil is that, in the event of a heavy train being disabled due to an accident, the locomotive rescue train that tows the train can tow it without any problems at a gradient of approximately 35 per mil. Tracks with a gradient of 35 per mil or higher are not considered heavy rail, but rather light rail, and can be operated on narrow gauge by narrowing the track spacing. For reference, the section between Changdong Station and Nowon Station on Seoul Subway Line 4 has a gradient of 29 per mil. The steepest subway gradient in Korea is 55 per mil, and it's the section between Geombawi Station and Asiad Stadium Station on Incheon Line 2, a light rail line. The section between Dokjung Station and Gumam Station on Incheon Line 2 is also 55 per mil. Overseas, tracks with a gradient of 55 per mil or more are operated on narrow gauge, not standard gauge. The following are the classifications of track and rail width. Standard gauge is the standard gauge for standard track width. Narrower gauge is narrow gauge, and wider gauge is broad gauge. Standard gauge is the internationally recognized standard for railway gauge, a standard established by the International Union of Railways, and refers to a track width of 1,435 mm, 1.435 meters. Also, conversions between degrees and per mil are possible,